Greetings. Welcome to this message, which is intended to convey hope, information, and strength during these times of chaos and suffering for so many. Never doubt that all is proceeding according to plan, for in spite of how things may seem, you are witnessing a necessary and important facet of the ascension process, which is the exposure and activation of layers of heavy and false energy created from and then accumulated over eons of time from the universal belief in two powers and separation. Many of these energies have lain unseen or controlled, but still present and available to be acted upon by those in alignment with them. In order for Earth to shift into higher dimensional frequencies, she must first rid herself of old and dark energy, for this energy as well as its resulting creation simply cannot align with the higher. This is true for people as well, which is why you may be experiencing physical, emotional, mental, and even spiritual issues at this time. If you experience a sense of hopelessness when you look out at the world, recognize that you are judging what you see by three-dimensional standards of how things must be or look in order to be right. It is important to remember always that the whole world is now experiencing a new and different energy, one in which the old familiar rules and their enforcement no longer work as in the past. Much of the suffering that the awakened as well as the unawakened are experiencing at this time is the result of attempts to hold on to obsolete three-dimensional standards of how things must be based in what has been. Frantic and unfruitful efforts to force something into a familiar mold will not and cannot work, because the energy on Earth has and is changing, leaving much that was formed from old energy to collapse, having nothing now to sustain and maintain it. You may be personally experiencing pain on some level, but remember that anything not in alignment with love is not real and has no law to support or maintain it. This is the illusion. Human good and human bad may seem very real, but because they concepts of a deeper underlying reality, they have nothing to hold them in place and will come and go. Humanly good appearances are no more real than bad ones. Meditate on that. Do not expect the clearing of old injuries, diseases, beliefs, or actions, etc., some of which you have been actively carrying with you throughout many lifetimes, to happen overnight. The clearing of old energy is a process. Issues on all levels that have been held in cellular memory over lifetimes will often express in every lifetime simply because the energy of them is alive and well. When some physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual issue arises time and time again or seems to last forever, try not to become discouraged and remember that the releasing of old stored energy is a process that does not happen overnight. You are the strong ones. Once a person awakens to the realization that they are source and expression, there are no longer accidents, for it is at this point the higher self begins to draw to the person the experiences necessary for them to go deeper. Many of these experiences cause the sincere truth student to feel that somehow they have failed, but no, it simply means that the soul is now ready for more intense work. Present times on Earth are not for the weak, which is why you were chosen to be on Earth for her ascension process. It is easy to lose sight of the fact that everything is changing when problems arise regardless of their nature. It is simply habit to automatically refer to known three-dimensional solutions while the mind works hard to fill in any empty spaces with scenes of doom and gloom. You must remember that things are not going to be as they used to be. Many understand this intellectually, but when problems arise, revert back to old ways of thinking and acting, unaware that many solutions from the past no longer have the energetic support they once had. This does not mean you cannot visit a doctor, healer, or someone you trust for help. What it means is that before you do it, you ask yourself what you are believing about the problem and if it is true in the light of the truth you know. Listen to and trust your intuition in these and all matters. The only reality is divine consciousness and its qualities. Everything else is but an illusory concept of this reality. If you are guided to see a doctor, it does not mean failure on your part. It simply means you are not yet fully conscious of your divinity, but are on your way. Resist nothing. There are some who attain knowledge of an absolute truth and then refuse help of any kind in the belief that they must hold fast to the truth they have come to know in spite of the fact that it has not yet become their state of consciousness. These dear ones often suffered from painful diseases and even die from their blind faith in an intellectual statement about truth. Never lose sight of the fact that consciousness forms the outer, not statements of truth. Help and healing is provided at all levels of awareness. Be strong, dear ones, for you came to Earth specifically for these times during which you knew you could advance your own evolution and that of planet Earth. All is proceeding according to plan. As higher frequencies of energy flow to Earth, They automatically dissolve everything not in alignment with them. Those who are awake automatically integrate more of these high-frequency light energies because they are able to align with them, which is why many of you are experiencing intense clearings at this time in forms of physical pain and problems in general. Always ask yourself when problems arise, what am I believing that is making me feel this way? This will guide you to the particular belief you are holding and now surfacing in order to be recognized and replaced with truth. Integration and clearing is a process that simply cannot happen overnight because the physical body would be unable to safely withstand the pressure of an instant full download of high-frequency energy. Those who seem to have no interest in spiritual matters often seem to be doing just fine, and you may wonder, how is it that I, who am seeking to bring light and love to earth and self, have all these problems, whereas this person living a life based fully in three-dimensional thinking and getting all his pains and pleasures from the physical, seems to have no problems? Know that when this person is spiritually ready, he too will begin clearing accumulated old energies which may not be in this lifetime. Do not judge yourself or others by appearances based in concepts about right and wrong. You can never know what is going on within another. Those who seem to have the most disastrous lives may actually be completing things that they needed to experience or resolve in order to spiritually evolve. Greet all seen and unseen, those you hear about, and those you come in contact with love. This does not mean attempting to feel an emotional attraction to someone, because in fact you may not even like the person, and that is okay. Learn to simply look into their eyes and acknowledge the life force that exists behind them, while remembering that there is only one life force, and it is God. This is the work, simply acknowledging the presence of God in everything you see, hear, taste, touch, or smell, in the realization that nothing else exists. Practice doing this as you go about your day. Visualize a tiny spark of light in the heart of every person: the clerk at the store, a fellow worker, the UPS or post person, a child or the elderly, the policeman. There are no levels of love: a kind word, holding the door open for someone, giving the dog a pat, or taking time to honor the essence of a tree or flower, all is love. Any seemingly ordinary service done with respect and love is light work. Learn to recognize the divinity of all life, and it will soon become your state of consciousness, expressing through you wherever you go. Many of you are at this level now. Our message is simple: just keep on keeping on. We know that the problems and chaos seem never ending and that nothing is ever going to happen or change, but this is the process of evolution. This is how the ascension of a planet takes place. Other planets have done it. Evolution is a continually unfolding process that cannot be stopped or avoided, because divine consciousness is and always has been the only reality, one expressing itself as infinite form and variety. We are the Arcturian group.